Hi, I'm Jim with Stuff Music, and today we're here to shoot out the brand new Fender Custom 68 Pro Reverb with this, a vintage Pro Reverb from 1966, and you can hear how the two stack up against one another. Stay tuned. Okay, we just got to hear both amps with humbuckers and single coils using a 59 Custom Shop 335, and this is a Custom Shop 64 Journeyman Relic Strat with rosewood board. Let's hear, I'll just run through a couple settings with humbuckers and single coils so you can get a little more in-depth comparison. And I'm going to be using a Greer Lightspeed for a little bit of light overdrive. So, here we go. Here is the Pro with humbuckers. The 68. All right, overdrive. Let's go to the bridge. Back to the 66 Blackface Pro. '68 Custom Pro. Let's hear some single coil sounds. Okay, clean first with the 66. $68. Let's hear some overdrive sounds now. Back to the 66. $68. Okay, so in conclusion, now these aren't exactly the same amp. Of course, this is 66 Blackface Pro. This is right when they started to make the Pro Reverb. And this is the 68. This is a 212. This is a 112. This has Alessandro 64s in it. It's not the original speakers. This has a Neo Creamback, so it's like a neodymium super lightweight speaker. You have a mid-control here. You don't have a mid-control here. This amp is about a month old. This amp is 55 years old. But they're both 40 watts. They're both pushing 2.6L6s. They have a similar complement of preamp tubes. And generally, they're going for the same vibe. I mean, of course, there are a lot of more modern characteristics of this amp. You know, you have the reduced negative feedback, stuff like that. The perceived volume, of course, this is a louder amp. It has two 12-inch speakers. This only has one. These older amps, they sound cool, but they tend to be a little unruly. I would say that the modern Pro is a much more controlled sound and probably more usable in most venues. You know, in the room here, I don't know if you saw I had my earplugs in. I had this guy on about 3.5, and I had this amp on 3.5. And the perceived volume, even, you know, accounting for the 212s versus the 112. This amp, when you get to the sweet spot, which is about 4, is going to take your face off and be probably too much for most rooms you're playing. Whereas this amp sounds great, and it generally, you can get to that sweet spot at a lower volume. So in a more modern context, it tends to be a little more versatile, especially if you're not playing in bigger rooms or if you're not playing outdoors. This amp is actually mine. I love this amp. I love Pro Reverbs. I think it was kind of like the overlooked amp in that era. You know, people are always talking about supers and deluxes, which are, of course, great. But man, these 40 watts I always find is kind of like right in the sweet spot. And they're both great sounding amps. They both these new amps take pedals great, and they're light. They're not going to break your back, unlike this. This is probably about 60, 70 pounds. It's a beast. So there you go. Hopefully this was a helpful comparison, and that's all. See you next time. I don't like that outro. Ah, well. Could I say something better?
Off YouTube.
Yourself, San Diego. Yeah. You can't say that, man.
Sure you can.